All right. You want to do it?
Let's do it.
Oh, my first line is hard. Hi, welcome to the F&T show. I'm Terynn.
And I'm Fiona, and welcome to episode 5, where today we're going to be talking about ghosts and creepy things. We're taking a little
Hmm.
bit of a different turn on this episode, but still applying the same what could it have been, trying to apply some logical thoughts into our experiences.
How was your weekend?
It was good. It wasn't long enough. It never seems long enough. Saw some old friends for a barbecue. It was kind of nice on the weekend, so we got to have a barbecue and spend time with my kiddos and my husband.
Hmm.
Got some stuff ready for camping.
Oh yeah, that's happening soon.
More week. It was a
Yeah.
really good weekend. Very
Hmm.
chill. I didn't create as much as I wanted to, but that's okay. That happens.
Hmm.
What it is.
It
What about
does.
yourself?
One of my dream weekends. I could live in the rink. Well, I mean, there's lots of things I like to do, but was away for the weekend, 4-day weekend
I
for a
know. I
ringette
was
tournament in New Brunswick. And my youngest daughter was in a ringette tournament, the Eastern Canadian Ringette Championships, playing for Team Nova Scotia. 5 games in 3 days.
wow.
Yeah, all very close, competitive. Very good ringette. There was all different age groups. She's an under 19, but under 14, under 16 was there. Stayed in a hotel, and besides the money that costs, that's actually very fun. Um, and my mom came along for a road trip,
Nice.
and we were really, really close to the rink. So the schedule of a tournament can be very demanding. And normally we're like half an hour away from the rink, and you have to be there an hour beforehand. So basically, whoever's there has to leave and be gone from the hotel room the whole day, basically. We were literally a 2-minute drive from the rink.
So you
So
go back to the hotel and just chill?
yeah, so I could bring Sarah to the rink, drop her off, go back. So um and they're older, so they stay in a room by themselves, the girls, teammates.
Nice.
So I'm not a bit, I don't like when she was younger, we had to basically, you know, be oh, what's the word? I'm losing words. But basically take care of every
Not good
need,
for a
right?
podcast.
Yeah. So yeah, not good.
What are words?
But I just had to get her some places if need be, but also the hotel was very close to lots of amenities. So they would go for a walk, her and her teammates in the morning, there was free breakfast at the hotel. Yeah, it
Nice.
was really, really good.
Yeah. Sounds like
Hmm.
your mom had fun.
We did. And of course the playoffs are on. The Leafs play tonight. This is my Mitch Marner jersey. Woo!
I actually saw we drove to Shuby, which is like a local park in our city. We went there yesterday and I saw two jerseys hanging in the window of somebody's house. Yeah, and I'm like, oh, I should
Yay.
like we were driving, so I couldn't snap the picture, but I'm like, oh, Taryn would have liked to see that.
Yeah, I should have my flag here, my Maple Leafs flag behind me, but I don't have anywhere to
Stick it.
hang it for the backdrop. But we should
Yeah.
have given it to you. You could have used that instead of your Goldie.
I know, and I got some pretty lights and shit. So we got
You
some ghost stories to tell, huh? We're gonna get down and start talking about some spooky
get
shit.
down, get down, get down, Jungle Boogie.
Wow, you really like to sing. Or
Not really.
you sing a
But
lot.
yeah, I do break out into song. It
So
happens.
you were meant to be in a musical. Maybe we can write
Yeah.
the F&T musical.
Maybe I was in a former life, which we could do that episode. Do you
Um,
believe in former lives?
I don't know. I would have no idea what my former life would have been. That would be a Turin episode because I got
Well, you
nothing.
could talk about former lives, and if you believe that it's true, and if you've heard of anyone or read any stories of people, some people seem to really know or have strong evidence that they were a certain person. I just have a feeling of possibly, and there's Penny every episode.
As for the norm, there she is.
Um, it's a Penny. Um, yeah, of possible, not certain people I was in a former life, but where I may have been or what may have gotten me.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Nothing. Maybe you're a new soul, which is why you're less angry.
maybe that's why I'm all butterflies. Now my son,
Yeah.
he's an old soul, Nicholas. Like he's very wise for an 8-year-old.
Interesting. And he's one of the ones that he has some interesting stuff here, yeah?
Yeah, so basically, like all my ghost stories or like creepy stories, I wouldn't really call them ghost stories, rotate around him. And oh, that's my cat's tail.
Every
Uh,
episode.
so I guess my first story would be we have a rental unit next door to us. So we own the whole building, rent out the other side, and we were getting this new tenant in. And it was just a young girl by herself with her dogs. And when she came by to pick up the keys and drop off her rent checks, she came in our side of the house. And we were just kind of talking and stuff. And Nicholas at the time would have only been 3, or maybe not even 3, like maybe just turning 3. Like he was really, really young. And he came into the room and just kind of like was being Nicholas. He's very charming, very sociable. So it was just kind of like, he talked to her, said hi to her, being all cute and stuff. And then that was it. And then she left. And that was the only time that she laid eyes on Nicholas, because it was like November, December. It was cold out.
Mm-hmm.
So then she moved in and everything was great. And then a couple months later, of course, it turns to springtime and we're outside and we're cleaning up the yard, and we finally get to talk to her and kind of socialize with her, over the back of the fence. And I can't even remember how it came up, but basically she was like, and I don't know if anybody believes in this stuff, but this is like, once again, my experience. She said that she had abilities. She was psychic. Okay.
Oh, cool.
And that she could read like the future, like all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay. And like, that's cool. Like I'd never really met anybody firsthand. Like obviously, you go to like you get your tarot cards read and all that stuff, but I'd never actually met somebody that claimed that they had like these abilities and stuff. And she's like, yeah, she's like, your son can see stuff. He's got the gift. And I'm like, no, I'm like, go away. Like, okay.
Wow.
And like once again, she's only ever met him once, and he was 3, like so
Mm-hmm.
young. And she's like, no, he has the gift. He can see things that you and I can't, like that you can't see. So you should really, just pay attention and just watch him, kind of thing, right? I'm like, okay, kind of skeptical, like, oh, cool, that's whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So then as Nicholas got a little bit older, and he wasn't that much older, he could talk. He'd be sitting at the breakfast table eating his breakfast, and he'd start talking about these black floaty things. And I'm like,
Of course, that makes me think of detached retina.
what? Yeah, the black
All
floaty
the
thing.
eye specialists are like,
Black floaty things are not good.
yeah,
His retina was okay. He never got a
yeah.
soccer ball to
Just
the face.
teasing.
Yeah, you'll have to tell the listeners about that story
I
sometime.
don't know. I'm just that's what other people may be thinking the same thing.
Yeah, black floaty things. So anyway, he just kept talking about these black floaty things and that they were coming to see him and that they scared him a little bit. And I'm like, well, what are they? Like, and of course he's young, right? So kids have such an active imagination. So I'm like, were you dreaming? Or was it a shadow? Was the cat moving in the dark? He's like, no, they look like a ninja star and they float above my bed. I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, are they nice things? Like, do they talk to you? Do they do anything? And he's like, no, they just float there. I'm like, okay, cool. And then one time I woke up in the middle of the night and to him yelling, mommy, mommy, mommy. So of course I jump out of bed. I thought something happened, that he'd hurt himself or whatever. And I jump out of bed, and the way that our house is, like there's our room and then the hallway, and then his bedroom's at the bottom of the hallway. So I come flying out our door and flip the light on in the hall and run down the hall into his room. And he's like, mommy, mommy, it's the black floaty thing. It's a black floaty thing. You ran right through it.
That's scary.
And by that point, I'd already reached his bed. So I'd already ran down the hallway. And he's like, mommy just ran through it. And I'm like, I ran through what? He's like, the black floaty thing. I'm like, oh my God. And I'm looking in the hall, and of course there's nothing there. The hall The hall light was already on, I think. Actually, I didn't even have to turn it on. So it wasn't like a shadow in the darkness or whatever. It was just super creepy. And then as he got older, he doesn't talk about it too much, but just recently he brought the black floaty thing up. And he said that it shows him that he said it's not bad. It's not a bad ghost. And he likes it when the black floaty thing comes to visit him because it shows him all his memories from when he was younger.
When he was younger, or what
Younger.
kind of memory?
Well,
Younger or
like
former
we were
life?
just talking about a former life thing. But I'm
Yeah.
like, are they good memories, bad memories? He's like, oh, they're really good. They're really good memories.
Really good.
Well, do you remember any of them? And he doesn't go. I can't remember if he ever went into specifics because, of course, I'm fixated on like where would he get that from? Like all of a sudden,
Hmm.
this black floaty thing that he's talked about like multiple times. Like this isn't just like a one-off thing. He talked about them a lot when he was like little, like 3, 4 years old. And
Hmm.
then this was only like maybe 2 or 3 years ago. So he would have been 6 or 7. So that's how long he's been talking about these black floaty things. Like I was thinking I was gonna have to come in and get like his room, you know what he the sage or whatever,
Hmm.
cleansed or whatever. Cause I was like,
Hmm.
but
Wow.
he doesn't mind the black floaty things because they show him all his happy memories.
Well, that is good. At least they're happy memories, but
I
I want to
know.
know more about these memories.
Oh, well, he says that the black floaty thing looks like a ninja star. Like when I asked him, he actually drew it for me one time and he said it looks like a ninja star.
Okay, so and you refer to it as ghost, but it's just like a black floating ninja star. So it could be ghost, could be a thing, could be an alien thing. Who knows? I don't know.
Anything. I don't know. But I mean, I
Wow.
obviously haven't seen it. And then there was one time, this is like my last, or I guess I have one more story that was my story. Um, there was one time he came into our bedroom. I think he was like, I don't think he was sick. I don't know if he came into our bedroom for something completely unrelated. And he was sleeping in our bed and we turned the light off. And of course, my husband and I were exhausted. We have to go to work and you're dealing with a kid that doesn't want to go to sleep in their room. They want to sleep in your room. And so he was laying in our king size bed between us and we turned the light off and he was like laying on his back and we're getting all snuggled in, right? And he's like, Mommy, he's like, do you see them? And I'm like, what? He's like, the red and blue lights on the ceiling. It's like, they're so beautiful. Do you see them? And I look at the ceiling, Terynn, there was nothing on the ceiling. Like nothing. Like I was thinking that maybe like sirens went by or a
Hmm.
car or something, right? There was nothing, it was pitch black. And even my husband, who's like very big, not into ghosts or anything like that, even he rolled over and looked up at the ceiling. He's like, I don't see anything. And he's like, you don't see the red and blue flashing lights? It's like, they're so beautiful. Okay, go to sleep, creepy kid.
And he hadn't been asleep yet. Did you say he woke up, or no? No one
He
was
was wide
asleep yet.
awake. He was wide awake. Like it's not like he was
Hmm.
like he was up walking, used the bathroom, talking to us because of course Nicholas is a talker. You know how he likes to talk, even at
Hmm.
like 2 o'clock in the morning. He's down for a conversation. But yeah,
He's
all of a sudden
down for a
he
conversation.
started talking about like these red and blue like lights on the ceiling.
See, now I have to Google all this stuff. Black ninja
Yeah,
stars and
I know.
moon red lights and
I know. Creepy.
things that bring you good memories.
Brings to me. Yep. I mean, I'm down for remembering good memories, but I don't know where he gets.
Hmm.
I don't know.
I feel that we need to interrogate Nicholas about these memories.
Oh, he might tell you. I don't know. I don't know if he could
Hmm.
remember, but
No,
he
that's
could
true. He might
go.
not.
Yeah.
Might just remember the feeling like that they're good memories, but he can't
He's
describe
like,
them.
yeah. And he's not scared of the black. And it made him so that he wasn't scared of the black floaty thing because he was always scared of it. But then when
Mm,
all of a sudden when it started showing him his memories, it wasn't so scary anymore.
right.
Right?
Now, am I misremembering? Was there one time he said something about white lights or
Yeah, there was one time that it went from black floaty things, and then there was white floaty things.
white floaty things?
Yeah.
And they were in his room too, I think,
Mm-hmm.
or because you walked through a black floaty thing.
Mm-hmm.
Not the white. Yeah.
So I don't know.
But there are always floaty things for sure.
Always
And
floaty
mostly
things.
black.
Yeah, and I'm
Uh-huh.
like, do they talk to you? Like, do they say anything? Like, wondering if it's like a family member that's passed. It's just kind of like checking up on them or whatever.
Right.
He's like, no.
Oh, so white, the people usually think of that as the color of ghosts, but so the
Yes.
white floaty thing, did he describe what that looked like?
No.
So that might not have been
That was
in.
when he was younger too.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe just didn't have the ability to describe it as well as he could when he got a little older.
Right.
Creepy.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, and very consistent over the years, like not just
Hmm.
it's
And you
not
should
like
at
he
least
just
like talk about it. Like he's not, it's not like he even has to like try to remember what it was. Like he vividly remembers them, even now that he's
wow.
older. Yep. It's creepy.
Hmm. I hope I don't see any floaty things tonight.
Yeah, me
I've
neither.
never seen floaty things, so I don't expect to. And if I am, it's probably a nightmare from this discussion.
Well, I mean, the only experience that I've ever had, and it was actually fairly recently. I don't even know if I told you this, but
This is not sounding familiar.
um, what year is it? It's 2023.
2023.
I'm like, what day is it? What year is
Oh
it?
dear, who's gonna believe your story
When
now?
when we had COVID, that was February of last year that we all had it, right? And we had to go into isolation
Yes.
and that Nicholas brought it home.
Mm-hmm.
Um, of course, we were in isolation because back then with COVID, you had to. Well, I guess you still should, but back then you
No, but
actually
you,
had to.
yeah,
It
yeah.
was like the rule. I was in my bedroom and it was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It was a bright sunny day. And I have like a little desk in my room that I use as a makeup slash writing table where I can set my laptop up. And it, the boys were all playing their video games, all in their respective places. So it was kind of quiet, like where I was. And I was working away and I was typing and I was writing. I don't even think I had any music on or anything. And Terynn, I swear to God, it was the creepiest feeling ever. I'm just like working away. I'm immersed in my story. I'm at a really good part. All of a sudden, I jumped. Like,
You
just
just
like I startled and I had to turn to my right. And I swear to God, it was like somebody was there. Like to the point where it startled me. Like I thought, and I had my door closed, the cat wasn't in the room, there was nothing. I was like just standing, like sitting there and looking over. Like I had to reach my hand out because it felt like, yeah, like there was something there. Like that was probably like my one and only experience I ever had. And I'm like, is it my dad? Like it was so creepy because I wasn't even thinking about like anything. I was just writing my
mm,
story. I was doing my thing. Nobody was bugging me. The cat wasn't even around me. And yeah, like, and I jumped. I just remember that, that feeling you get when, like, when when you fall down the stairs and you get like that jolt, like that belly drop and your heart kind of skips a beat. If that's how it felt, like it was just a sudden jolt of
mm-hmm. And
being startled.
then that the fact that you felt it so much that you reached out to
Like
see,
I
like you couldn't see
literally,
anything, but
I'm like, what is that? Like, what is going on? And obviously, nothing. It was creepy as hell. It was crazy. But
I
that's
wonder what
my
that
one and
was.
mm,
But it's funny that you speak of just this feeling because
mm,
and it's as if we rehearsed this, but no, this is just naturally segueing into
yeah,
my story.
your turn.
So, well, no, not my turn, but just this part. If you have more, we can go
No, I'm
back to
done.
that. But
Nope.
um, interesting you should say that because I so much information to unpack here. But there's some kind of presence in the house. I lived in a couple different houses growing up, but the one I lived in since I was 8 and that up into adulthood, that my parents still own, has some kind of presence or something. And it's funny because it's just a split entry and it's only in the basement that you feel this. And when my brothers were teenagers, we converted the family room where we used to play sock hockey and everything together,
Stop.
into their bedroom. And then I was in the bedroom down the hall downstairs. And so my parents were upstairs. So it's only mostly in the family room slash my brother's bedroom. And I want to say it only really started once they moved into family room as the bedroom. I'm trying to think about that. Anyway, it seems to be a presence, something to do with my brother Josh, my youngest brother. But that feeling that you're describing, you go into the house and you don't always feel it, but sometimes you'll just be downstairs and all of a sudden
Yeah.
you're just like, I think I should go now. And
Like
you
how many
just,
times would that happen?
and you don't even sometimes think about it frequently enough that you don't think of it when you go downstairs. Like I really don't think of it. And you're just doing stuff. Like it's almost like I forget about it, but then all of a sudden I'll feel that feeling and then I'll be like, oh yeah, I think I should go now. And it's not a creepy, like I'm not scared, but you're just like this feeling like
It's the
whatever
unknown.
just wants you to vacate this room
Mm-hmm.
or at least go so you don't have to leave the house. Just
Mm-hmm.
get out of that area. And then you go upstairs and you're fine. You don't have that feeling anymore and you're not scared.
And
And
then you
then
go back
later
down
you can go
later.
downstairs and you don't have that feeling. Um, but it's just this it's just weird. It's just this feeling like I don't know, like just leave.
So why do you say it was attached to your brother?
Well, I think he was the first one to experience it. I have two brothers, and the other one, Matthew, I don't know that he necessarily believes this stuff or not, and he has less run-ins with it. I don't know if he has any specific stories of him hearing or seeing presence. Um, but a lot of people do, and not even people that live in the house. So people who have come into the house have also experienced things. So I don't know. So I'll just tell you some of the stories.
Yes.
And my brother Josh was he was sick with scarlet fever and he was upstairs on the main floor sleeping on the living room couch. And it's a split entry, so it's like the living room and then the dining room and the kitchen. But before it was open concept, like we've since knocked down the walls, but they were all up there. So three separate rooms with the entryways to get into all of them, but connected. So Josh is upstairs on the couch, and my mom and I think Matthew and my dad were not in the house. My mom and I are downstairs in the family room before it was their bedroom. Oh, so it did not start when they had the bedroom because it was before it was their bedroom. So we were watching TV in the family room before it was converted to their bedroom. Josh was upstairs on the couch, and all of a sudden, the loudest thud came from upstairs in the living room where Josh was, and so loud and big, and just one thud that we thought Josh fell off the couch, and he wasn't feeling very well, so we thought something really bad happened. So we run up the stairs and we find Josh on the couch. His eyes are so wide and he's kind of frozen in terror on the couch, thinking, what in the hell was that? And he no longer looks that sick because he's just like so scared.
Oh my God.
And we're thinking now, what? That wasn't you, which is good, but also now we're
What was it?
confused.
Yeah.
Well, we went into, and I can't remember the exact objects, but we went into so through the entryway into the kitchen. And so in the kitchen, there's the stove and the table, and then next to it is the dining room table in the dining room.
Mm.
So an object, one was a cookie sheet, I'm pretty sure, from the top of the stove, and it was not hanging over, it was in the middle. Um, one might have been a glass of milk. Can't remember, but three separate objects, one from the kitchen table, one from the stove, and one from the dining room table, all fell onto the floor, were on the floor, and it was only one thud, so they all hit at the exact same
I was gonna
time.
say.
And no windows were open. Not like there's no wind. There's like why?
No cat, no.
No cat. Yeah, we had no. Yeah, I don't know if we had the dog, but I don't think the dog was there. And did the dog jump on the if we did it jump on it this dog didn't jump on tables. We did have a dog. She comes into a story later, but yeah, no dog. That dog was also attached to my dad, and I'm pretty sure he wasn't there. So if he wasn't there, he was out with my brother and the dog probably. But Yeah, I don't remember a
Wow.
dog. So yeah, like weird. And they were objects that we knew where they were before they fell. So maybe one wasn't a glass of milk. See, bad. I just remember that we know that the objects came from this place, this place, this place, that they weren't hanging on the edge. And even if they were hanging on the edge, how'd they fall out at the same time and
All
just flop?
three at the same time. Like it's not like there was three separate crashes. It was just one big.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you had heard three separate crashes, still a little suspect that three objects fell from three different places. But, you're, you want to explain it away. So you maybe, I don't know. But
That's
one
creepy.
object falls, obviously you're thinking there's totally an explanation, but three at the same time from three different places all fell into the same spot with one loud thud.
That's creepy.
That and nothing was like that scared my brother who was right there.
That's creepy.
So
And
that
he
was
didn't see anything.
no.
He was just watching TV.
I think he was sleeping if I remember correctly because I don't like he really didn't feel well.
Hmm.
And I think that's why we were downstairs because like he doesn't sleep on the couch, but he must have fallen asleep up there. So we just
Wow.
left him, right? He really didn't feel well.
That's
But then
creepy.
he was up after that.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was one story, and that involved Josh. And again, I can't remember what order these happened in either, so I don't know if that was the first encounter, but another creepy one is I believe she was his girlfriend at the time, now his wife. But Denise was having supper at this house in the dining room with and I know I said the presence happens mostly downstairs in that room. Things have happened all over the house, but that's where you get that feeling
The yucky
and
feeling.
where it feels like it kind of I don't know if they live somewhere or if that's where it seems like it mostly happens, but then it must follow. This is also why I think it might be attached to Josh, like where he goes in the house, things happen.
Ugh.
Otherwise, you have to go down there and then you feel it. Does that make sense? So that's why I
Right.
think it's him. And but anyway, um, I'm trying to think of because he had a bedroom downstairs, not in the family room. I think most of the time. And then I moved down at some point beside him, and then eventually they moved to the family room. But I think Josh was always downstairs the majority of this time as
Okay.
well. Anyway, Denise was over having dinner, and they believe in their recollection, Josh and Denise say they think it was just my mom and dad. They were having supper. But Denise said she kept hearing Josh's name being said, like whispered, like Josh, Josh, over and over, but whispered, right? So that and oh, what did she say? She said like all of a sudden she just mentioned hearing like what is whispering Josh's name, and my brother said something along the lines of like thank you, or you hear it too, or something like that. And that's what because he used to hear that all the time, and so
No.
she's like, "What?" And then that is how she found out about this presence or whatever.
Oh my God. So she heard it too. And
Yeah,
didn't
so
have
he was kind
any,
of
he didn't even have any, she didn't even have any idea that it was happening.
no clue. Like, yeah, I don't know why Josh hadn't mentioned, but so heard this and then finally it's like, basically like that sucks. It's kind of scary, but also, yay, I'm not crazy. This is, I hear that all the time
Oh
too. And
my
that's another
gosh.
reason because says Josh's name never said my name in its life, right? Doesn't seem to bother my brother Matthew. It bothers me a lot. Like it does things to me, but it never says my name. So the fact that it's like calling Josh, that's really weird.
That is creepy AF.
Oh yeah, and so I'm trying to like think, okay, obviously people are probably like, really? You have quite the imagination, but like it's not just happening to me. I'm trying to explain all these things away, like what could that possibly be? They're at the supper table. Denise is not dreaming this. Josh is hearing it at that moment as well and has heard it before, but has not bothered to tell her. And only because she says this, now he's like, hey, he tells her the stories that he has experienced thus far. So, like, isn't
I
this
don't
crazy?
even like your brother. Holy smokes. If something was whispering out my name, I'd be like, I'm burning this house down. Oh
Yeah.
my
Well,
gosh.
but and it's weird because it it's scary, but not scary. Not the same as if I don't know you knew a human was in your house, and it doesn't seem like it's out to hurt anyone. Like we haven't had the experiences where we're like in fear, um, for our lives or anything. Does that make sense? Like not,
It's
I
still
guess, like a
whispering his name, like
maybe just talking to him. I don't know, but then we don't know. Yeah, we don't know who this is, or so. But we do call him Codge, and we do think it's a boy, and we call him Codge because my brother, who I don't think he necessarily believes in this stuff, or I shouldn't speak for him, but he's not sure about this Codge and he hasn't had much experience. So, I mean, without him being on here, I can't really say exactly where he stands. And we haven't really spoken about it, like the whole spirit thing in general. But he did a Ouija board with his friends, for fun, like his friends in high school. And they asked this presence what its name was. So everyone knows about this. So now they're trying to summon this presence, find out more about him. Um, and of course, Ron, who I was dating at the time, I'm in the bedroom down the hall, and we're listening to them. So what's your name? And I ask him all these questions. So Ron, who's pretty serious most of the time, tells me, slam the door. So I do, because that's funny. And the screams scared the poop out of them all. They were so scared, and that it was
oh,
pretty funny.
Ouija boards are sketchy AF too. My dad's was a very logical man. He didn't really speak very much about like ghosts or anything like that, but I remember when I was like 13, I was hanging out with these girls and they made this like makeshift Ouija board and they were like doing it out in the woods or whatever. And I was young, I was like 12 or 13 maybe. Anyway, that night I went home and I told my dad, and he was so upset. He just looked at me and well, he was not upset. But from my dad, he just looked at me. He's like, I don't want you ever touching one of those ever. And I'm like, why? Like to see him react like that. And I'm like,
Mm,
why? And he's like, just don't touch anything to do with.
wow.
I'm like,
I wonder what
okay,
experiences he had.
I don't know. Well, he did die once, is his story.
What?
He was in motorcycle accident when he was in his early 20s, and I guess he actually died. He actually remembers it, that he said he was walking down this hallway, and at the end of the hallway there was two guys sitting at a table, and they just kind of looked at him and said, "What are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here yet." And dad was like, "Okay." Like I wasn't even alive. Well, me myself, because my dad was only young, and he's like, "Okay." And he's like, "On you go back." And then he went back and
What?
obviously lived his life. So uh when he was dying of cancer, he just kept saying, he's like, "No, it's not my time yet. It's not my time yet. It's not my time yet. When it's my time, I'll know." And
Hmm.
then he went.
Huh.
It was very weird, yeah. So that's probably the only experience I've ever heard him really talk about anything to do with ghosts. But yeah, he was really upset that he found out that I touched, even though it was a fake one. I think it was made out of like a box or something with just like
Hmm.
a marker with the alphabet written on it. Like it was nothing authentic, right? It was
Right.
just kids, but anyway. So do you have more ghost
Still.
experience?
Well, no. Well, my brother and his friends were using this Ouija
Yeah,
board.
the Ouija board, yes.
And again, I didn't get everyone's particulars from their story. They've told me before, but I can't remember my, fine details sometimes unless I write it down. So but what's most important is they were using this. We scared them by slamming the door. Hee hee. But they did ask his name, the ghost.
Right.
And I can't remember if this was why we knew it was a he at this point. Again, all of my memories, I don't remember what order they happened, but I'll just keep telling them. And it spelled out Cauj. We have no idea what that means. Why, like if that is that the person's name, maybe two middle names, maybe a hyphenated last name, who knows? Um, and we just pronounce that Codge. So from here on out, we'll just refer to him as Codge. That's what we call him.
So I just
Um,
Googled it. CAUG is a
J, I meant.
OJ.
Yeah, I
Maybe
think J. Yeah, J. Cauj.
CAUJ. I'm getting information on large commercial condensers.
Well, when I describe this spirit to you, I don't think that's him.
No. A compressor?
Um, Pardon?
A compressor?
Yeah, I don't think so. I do remember my brother, who's a little bit more skeptical. I do know this because I think he was kind of challenging the Ouija board. Oh, I should have gotten more information, but something about he asked it something and its answer was kill. I don't know what that means.
What?
If it was threatening to kill, or if the ghost is saying he was killed, or I don't know. But another thing they asked it, whatever it did do the three initials, first, middle, and last name of one of the girls that was there, and then said sick. And she was sick. She didn't know it at the time, but she was sick. But she's okay now. But
Like seriously sick?
yeah,
Wow.
I don't want to divulge her
No, no,
information, so
no, no,
that's
no.
why I
But
look
I mean, like,
skeptical.
what,
But
like,
yeah,
was it a cold or was it like something?
no, no, it was a yeah.
Okay. Wow.
But she's okay now. So yeah, so wow,
Wow. That's
that was a little
intense.
creepy.
That is so creepy.
So anyway, that's why we call it Codge. And I've already done the one where Josh is sick on the couch and the three objects fall. The
Yep.
Ouija board, the feeling that you just have to leave, but not in a scary way. Like we don't know what would happen if we stayed and didn't listen to that, but you just don't want to. You're
It
just
just
like, I'm
doesn't
gonna
feel right.
leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Um, but again, he's never done anything to hurt. Oh yeah, and the voice, the Josh, it's all the time. Josh hearing his name all the time, but frequently. And Denise also hearing it.
Wow. I don't think I want to go to your mom's house anymore.
So, remember I said I'm always trying to figure out how these instances or these experiences can be explained away. Obviously, a Ouija board, lots of people believe you can just push it to make it say whatever. So that could be explained away, although sick, like who would know, So, but, and I don't know, did everyone there know her initials? Like her middle name? I don't know.
Well, they wouldn't know that she was sick, like especially if she didn't even know.
She didn't know. Yeah. So
So
we still don't know what kill is. Like no one has been killed. No one committed a murder from that group. So I don't know what that was. Maybe it was him trying to say that he was killed. I don't know.
maybe he
So,
was in that basement.
um, but this one is the couch that was upstairs that my brother was sleeping on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how this connects to our ghost because I've seen an outline of him and I would describe him as, and that story will be later, but I would describe him as like a teenager, like I want to say between 15 and 17 years old.
And you've seen him?
Yeah, that's one of the good stories. I'll tell that next. But so he's sitting on the couch upstairs, and only on I think it had four sections. You know how they have the cushions, so only on the one cushion. If you sat right there, all of a sudden you get this waft of cigar smoke smell, and no one in our family smokes cigars. It was my mom, myself, and one of my friends that was there, and we were all sitting on the couch, but only the person that sat on that one cushion could smell it. And
What?
just because we were like, wait, what? So we all took a turn sitting one on that cushion, then and then the other one beside them and beside them. Only could smell it on that cushion. And even once I got a whiff and knew I was trying to smell it, when I moved off that cushion and I could try as hard as I wanted to try to smell it and I couldn't. But as soon as I sat back on that cushion, I could smell it.
Yeah, your
And so
stories
it's
are
not like
way
something was
different.
neurologically going on with my brain because all three of us had the same problem or the
Wow.
same, right? We couldn't smell it on this cushion. We could smell it on this cushion.
So was it definitely like cigar smoke? It wasn't like cigarette smoke? Because your dad smoked, didn't he?
Definitely not cigarette smoke. Like it had that sweet, like, and maybe I picture them. The smell reminded me of those ones. So maybe they're not cigar, but with the like peachy colored filter on the
Oh yeah.
bottom and
Yeah.
brown. That's what the smell reminded me of. Um, Maybe my dad smoked those at one point, but he wasn't home and he wasn't smoking at the time. And it was only on this one cushion and there was nothing, like it wasn't anywhere else. Just you had to be sitting. You
Oh,
couldn't even stand there. You had to be sitting on this cushion.
wow.
Isn't that weird? Like, so you couldn't even
So weird.
stand by it and smell it. You had to be
That
sitting. So almost, I guess, like as if the spirit was sitting smoking, and if you did that, you were doing that. Maybe I don't know, but I don't know what that would have to do with a 15 or 17-year-old boy. But I'm just putting that out there because I don't understand any of it. And there's like so many experiences, so I'm not gonna bore you with all of them, but with a lot of them because they're all very
good. Your stories are way
interesting.
better than mine. Just throwing
No,
that out.
not well, I experienced them, not a three, you're right? Like Nicholas can only tell you so much, and they're different and also very, how do you explain them?
Yeah, the memory thing is still weird.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I
Anyway,
want to
keep
know more
going. I
about
want to
them.
hear more.
Okay, well, so the seeing this lodge.
Yes.
So by this point, my brothers are sharing that bedroom, but they're away for hockey or something. So I have two of my friends sleeping over, and I'm sleeping in Josh's bed.
Oh God.
Josh. And so the beds are here, and then there's a couch um, with its back facing the end of the beds and kind of separated away, but because they kind of had it divided like with watching TV on that side of the room
Yeah.
and the bed. So, but the back of the couch is facing. And it's no secret that I'm a little nervous. I listen to some true crime. So sometimes I have nightmares about, and everyone makes fun that I always think there's a murderer lurking around. Or so, if I hear any noises or whatever, like I get kind of scared sometimes. So that's no secret. So I wake up. I'm sure I was awake. Like, sometimes you're dreaming. So I wake up in the middle of the night, and on the back of the couch, I see what looks like a 15 to 17-year-old boy. He has a toque on with one of those pom poms on
Mm-hmm.
the back, or
Mm-hmm.
a beanie for the American listeners with the fluffy pom pom. We call them
Mm-hmm.
toques here in Canada, and but the winter hat that a lot of hockey teams would wear,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then like a sports coat, like it had a hood, but it was a thicker winter coat. But it reminded me of the sports jackets that teams would wear as well. That's just what it reminded me of. I don't know if it had anything to do with hockey, but
Oh,
that's and like with the buttons, so it wasn't a zipper, so it buttoned like this down the front, and it was
yeah.
a little bit like longer, and it looked very comfortable. Um, but so he seemed to be dressed for winter. Anyway, that's what it looked like was sitting there. So of course, murderers, I that would scare the bejesus out of me.
Yeah. Of
So at
course.
first I'm panicked, like a murderer's in the house, like that's everyone's worst fear come true, I'm sure. But then I'm trying not to freak out, and then I'm looking, and as I look, what was more just like a shadowy thing becomes clearer and clearer, but darker and darker. So very much defined outline, more and more looking like a human, but dark, so I can't see any features or anything, just the outline. So
Like
again,
a
then I don't
shadow.
know how I knew he had buttons. Maybe that's just what went in my mind. But definitely the outline of a hood, definitely the outline of a toque with the pom pom on top. Yeah, and just so I don't know, maybe I didn't see
Then he just
buttons.
disappeared.
Oh no, he didn't disappear. So the more I looked, the more clear it became. And then of course I'm thinking, am I awake? Am I awake? Like I must like I'm not awake. Like it can't be awake. And so, but it's becoming clearer and clearer and clearer. And I'm pretty sure I'm awake because now I'm convincing myself I'm awake. And I'm sitting right up and I'm nervous. And I have read something about this after, because I was surprised that after that I didn't get up, just turn on the lights or make everyone get up and sound
Scream.
the alarm.
Yeah.
And I was surprised I was able to go back to sleep because is there a person sitting on the back of my couch?
Yeah.
Even if I'm aware, I'm 100% sure it's a ghost, still, how could I sleep? I don't know. I've just read that people are nervous. I read this after, I didn't know this at the time, but somehow they're able to calm themselves and just they're still worried. So basically what happened to me is I was nervous. I looked. I didn't really know what to do. I didn't have the fight or flight response that you would have if you actually thought it was a human or a danger. I wasn't peaceful, but I was just like, I'm just going to go back to sleep now. And then I
Oh
went
my.
down, but I was laying there and I didn't want to look again. And eventually I fell asleep. And the first thing I did in the morning was look on the back of the couch because I'm like, there, and I didn't know it was the back of the couch. Like I thought that's what it was, but I couldn't see clearly enough the couch. Just only this figure was the thing that came clear. But in my head, I woke up. I'm like, there it must be a table or somehow on the back of the couch. There must be like a pile of laundry
Yeah.
that my brain made into this
Yeah.
boy, and something. I looked exactly where I saw him. It's just the back of the couch. Nothing could be sitting on there, and there is nothing.
Oh my gosh.
So I am like, ooh,
Is
and
your
oh, I still remember so, and I've had nightmares and then realized I'm actually asleep. When I wake up, I know I was asleep,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
I woke up and I'm and I've never had sleep paralysis or any of this. So
Wow.
pretty sure I was awake,
That's creepy. That is so creepy.
right?
I
But
would
now
never
that
sleep
one,
again. I'd never sleep in that room again. I'd be done.
see, and you would think that I wouldn't, but there's something weird about you don't get the fight or flight. You get the fright, but I don't know. I'm gonna have to read about that again. I read a bit about it, and I'm like, that is what I felt like seeing this
That is
presence, Hodge.
so spooky.
Um, and I just don't know because yeah, anyone that knows me, there's no way in poo that I would be normally going back to sleep. I've had nightmares, and I know they're
Uh-huh.
nightmares, and I can't go back to sleep.
Yeah.
But now I've seen this. I've seen Hodge, a ghost or a presence, and I go back to sleep. I don't even understand it.
Yeah, I would not be able to sleep. But like you said, if it's something that can happen, like,
Yeah,
and
and
it's
I can't remember. I should
documented
have
that it can
asked.
happen,
Pretty sure my brother Josh has seen him as well. I should
oh, you
have
should have asked
gotten
him for
that.
this episode.
Hmm. Maybe
Hmm.
he'll have to. He can come on and describe all of his Codge experiences.
Yes.
Um. So there's the sleeping one, and then something that happened to me frequently. This is back in the day when you had CD players, and you had those, um, had these music clubs you could be part of, and you could order different CDs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So and people. I don't know if my parents just didn't really. They were up on the upper level. We were downstairs. We got to play our music really loudly. It was awesome, like really loud, and jump on the
Downstairs.
bed, sing in our room, whatever. Um, but a lot of the time when people weren't home and you're playing your music loudly, I always had my bedroom door shut.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know why, but I just always had it shut. I just think I felt cozy. And
Yep.
then I'd blast my music, even if people weren't home. I had my door shut. Um, and I remember it's so loud, like you can't hear anything, and the music is just blasting. I'm enjoying my songs, and I swear every time I was home alone and I did that, certain amount of time, all of a sudden, knock, knock, knock on my door. And I'm remembering it. I think it's always three times, but it was always the same knock. And every time I would be annoyed at first because I'm trying to listen to my music. Then I would think that someone came home and they're telling me to shut it. So I wasn't scared that like
Yeah.
I was alone or sometimes people were home. But if I was alone, I wasn't scared. I didn't think there was a murderer. I just thought it was my parents and my brother telling me to turn my music down. So
Yeah.
always the first time I'd open my door annoyed. Like what?
But
Because I'm a
yeah.
teenager. Uh,
Yeah.
not insulting to teenagers, but I was having my
Everything's
time and it was all about me at the time, right?
and
So
everything's an inconvenience when you're a teenager. Like
yeah. So
everything.
what? And no one there. And then I'm like, so then of course I just think I didn't it's so loud. Maybe I thought I heard a knock. Closed door, blast music, same knock, three times. Now I'm opening my door like, what the heck? Nothing there
And this happened more than once.
all the time. But each time I got more onto it. But like at first you're not thinking, like I don't, even though we know the ghost is there, I didn't automatically think, oh no, it's him again. I was every time I'm like, what? Because sometimes it was a person, right? But
Oh,
so many times it was not. And and then the second time, and then I think I would try again because I really wanted to listen to my music. I don't
must
want
have been
to
a
stop playing
really
my music, right? But
must have been a really
eventually,
good
then the
sleeping.
third or fourth time, I'm like, hey, I'll just turn my music off, and then no more knocking.
What?
Swear.
Okay, I don't want to be in my basement anymore.
And it's kind of too bad it's not in the time of cell phones because back then we didn't have that because I would absolutely be recorded because, like,
Record
just because,
that.
like, look, I swear this is happening, right?
And free knocks.
Hmm. And I tried to look that up, and of course, that's usually the knock premonition of death I keep reading, but like no one died. Like that's not. It's far too frequent for it to be premonition of death.
He was just tired of your music. You were disturbing him.
Probably he didn't like the sign Ace of Base.
I love that
That
album.
was a popular one, or Salt and Pepper. No, yeah, Salt and Pepper. Shoop. Yeah.
Shoot, I love that song. I put that song on all the
No, was
time.
that Salt? That was
Yeah,
Salt and Pepper. Yeah.
yeah.
And
Very.
TLC, Waterfalls, New Kids
Oh,
on the Block. Like he was having none of it. Uh, so that happened a lot. Um, and then there's just two more that I'll bore you with.
you're
Um,
not boring. These are great. You should write a book.
God.
You could write like a whole story about this. You could make up a whole
Well,
like
yeah, and
family based on your family, like based on true events kind of shit.
ooh, it's the new movie. No one
Ooh.
steal this. Copyright, copyright.
He could be a murderer.
Oh,
You
no,
could
no.
totally make that like a Stephen King creepy.
Oh, no, Stephen King,
Maybe,
creepy.
maybe I'll
No,
do
too
it.
creepy. That would be flight.
Oh,
Fight or flight.
I
This
love
was just
creepy.
fright.
I actually have like a bunch of notes on like different kind of ghosts and demons and stuff for a book idea. So maybe I'll just like take a couple of your ideas for the creepiness factor.
Sure, for the creepy.
Creepy.
Josh. Josh.
Oh my God.
Josh.
Oh, no. No, 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 no.
Um, so we had a dog named Fergie, named after because she had red hair. Fergie,
Fergie.
Sarah Ferguson.
Oh, don't laugh. If I ever get a dog, I'm gonna name him Fergus. Isn't
Oh,
that a
a
cute
cute
doggy
name.
name? Isn't
So
it?
this was a little a mixture of a corgi, a sheltie, and a Labrador Retriever, but
Does he
mostly
have
looked like
little
a corgi.
legs?
Little tiny legs.
Okay, I need to
Hmm.
see a picture of him. Her.
I will have to post
Oh my
pictures of.
God.
Oh, hello, dogs that live here now. Two more stories, and then Fiona's going to tell us about the Halifax ghosts.
Yes, no, keep going.
Um, so Fergie was very much my dad's dog. Like it was our whole family, but really loved my dad and went everywhere with him, everywhere. Um, and so my dad mostly was upstairs because we are, the bedroom downstairs, and Fergie would not come downstairs with the children, me and my brothers, ever. Like we wanted her to come hang with us,
Of
but
course, yeah.
no, she'd hang with us upstairs. She'd go in the car with us, but no, downstairs, never, unless we had food. Then she would follow us. So one time I was eating in my bedroom. I can't remember what it was, but of course Fergie followed me down. And I remember I closed my door. So I was sitting on my bed eating them. She was sitting there waiting for some. I don't know if I shared. Um, when I was finished, immediately, like as soon as you're finished, like she wants nothing to do with me. She gets off my bed and no, she doesn't sit. Oh, excuse me. This is part of the story. She didn't jump on beds. She would play with soccer balls and stuff like that, but she didn't. And I think she would get on the couch by herself, but she didn't want to hang with me. So she wasn't being comfortable and sitting on my bed. She was on the floor. She would never go on my bed. Because I mean, maybe that would, make her want to get comfortable and stay down there, heaven forbid, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So she's on the floor, sitting in front of me, waiting. As soon as I'm done, literally not even done chewing, she's at the door, like, open it, open it. I would like to leave now. So I open it and remember down the hall, straight down the hall is my brother's room. And then in between my room and their room are the stairs to go upstairs, closer to my brother's room. Okay.
Okay.
Makes sense?
Yeah.
On the left-hand side. So I open my door. She starts running towards the stairs because like she's leaving. And this is what she did every time. She'd normally
Yeah.
open the door, boom, all the way upstairs, done.
Yeah.
Heads down the hall, freezes, looks at my brother's room, wants to go upstairs so badly she puts her little paw up on the bottom step, but is still looking at my brother's room. And then runs. And I have the door open the whole time because I'm watching her going, what are you doing? Beelines it back for my room and jumps on my bed and lays down.
What?
So I just now I'm in that like I have that same feeling like I'm just gonna close my door now,
Yeah.
right? Like that same not frightened,
Yeah.
not in a panic, but I should probably close my door now. So yeah,
Oh, and how long did she stay in there with you?
I can't remember that, but I know there was a second attempt. So I don't know if she then, once I closed the door, she was like, wait, I think I'm gonna get trapped in here. Tried again. Wouldn't go up and ran back down and came back in. So I had to close the
Oh
door again.
my gosh. I am never going to your mom's house again.
But then she really didn't want to stay in there. So the next time I opened the door, she ran like beelined it upstairs. But like, so now a dog is there's something going on there.
And your brothers weren't home.
No,
The lights were
it
all
was
off.
pitch black, and there were like their light was off and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, that's creepy
So
AF, isn't it?
creepy AF. Oh yeah.
Okay, and just one more. Like, there's so many, but this one's
These are good.
there's so many, and they're like years. Like I can't remember the order. We just this, and I'm not the only one. Like everyone has their own experiences, so um, this is why I'm like, how would this all be explained away? Like, what is going on,
Mm-hmm.
right? But so back in the day when I mostly only had myself to worry about, and we did stuff around the house, but you just had the one area of the house that you had to keep clean. So my room was the only one that was mine, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in my ideal house room anywhere is very, very, very decluttered and very tidy and organized, which you wouldn't know knowing me, but that's because that's a standard I can no longer uphold.
Right.
So it's just like, why bother?
Yeah.
But my brain likes it like that. And so as a teenager, when it was just my room, so organized and so decluttered that I could tell my brothers hated it. And I always had my door closed. And I didn't care if my brother was like, I didn't have that relationship like, ew,
Don't go
brothers
in my
stay away. But
room. Yeah.
I just had it organized and I didn't want people touching my stuff because I knew where everything was and, just, I guess, a
Mm-hmm.
little anal.
Mm-hmm.
So I always had my room closed. Like, don't go in my room
Right.
because don't touch my stuff.
You'll disturb my
So,
shit. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So they knew like one time someone went in there, they moved my hairspray just a little bit and I could tell. And they were like, how the hell did you know I was in here? I'm like, it's the
Wow.
hairspray. Maybe I have some issues, but yeah, I don't anymore because that's impossible to
Well,
uphold.
because you've been a mother of three children and it's
Yeah,
just not
but deep
realistic.
down, I really do want things like that, but it's not happening. So I'm able to relax. But so they didn't go in my room. But I remember coming home one night and I was a creature of habit. Lock, turn off light, lock bedroom door, not lock, close bedroom door,
Close. Yep.
leave, right? I'm human. Sometimes I forget things. But I pull into the driveway, my bedroom light is on. I'm like, who the F is in my room? Like so my friend has dropped me off and I'm getting out of the car basically going, who was in my room?
I'm
Like
gonna kill
I'm annoyed.
somebody.
Yeah, yeah. Why are they in and also really, why are they in there?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I open the door, and I'm ready to just, say,
Tear into them.
but I see my brother and his friend at the bottom of the stairs looking at my bedroom down the hall going like, and their eyes are wide open and they're just
No.
staring at it. And I'm like, so I
Uh,
go from like, oh, what? Like, what is happening? And they're just staring. So I run down the bottom of the steps and look. Oh no, I remember, excuse me. As I get out of the car, the light's on, it goes off. So now I'm on to them. I'm like, oh, they hear me home. Those little farts. I know you were in there,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They're turning off the light and getting running away, right?
Yeah.
So I see them at the bottom of the stairs, which would tell me they did just run away, but they're facing the wrong way and they're frozen in fear. And then,
Oh
so I
my
don't
goodness.
yell. I'm like, what is happening? And they're just like looking. And then I go down. This is when I go down, look, and now the light's on again.
No.
And then it's off again. And then it's on again.
Stop
And I
it.
don't remember like how many times. And so I'm like, you weren't in my room, were you? And they're like, no. But and I don't know if they were just going up to get a snack and saw out of the corner of their eye, you know, that my light was on or off or whatever, but they didn't go in my room. And I saw the light going on and off just in my room.
Oh my God.
Isn't that creepy?
Did you go in your room?
Yeah, I went in my room because then I figured I knew it was Codge.
And you weren't scared? I'd never sleep in that room again. I would be such
No,
a
but
chicken
again, I'm
shit.
telling you, there's this weird feeling like, yeah, scared because weird and
Your
creepy.
light is flicking on and off.
Yeah, but I know it's him at this point because of all the things, and he hasn't done anything to harm us. Like I said, sometimes we just had that feeling like I'm just gonna leave now. But
Oh my
so I don't
God.
remember if I went in and then just did leave the room for a bit, but I can't remember. But I wasn't scared to go in my room just to make sure nothing was actually in there. Nothing was, right? And then, but I just know it was him. It's the same kind of stuff that kept happening, right? So I went
Ugh.
from pure like I was in my room to oh man, like that was a new one. I that didn't happen again.
I'd be
But
like saging the shit out of my room. I'd like be
but
burning everything. Burn it
I
all.
wonder if he was only like I don't know why he went down there. Sometimes like Josh used to be in the room right next to it, so I don't know if it's because I feel he's connected to Josh somehow, um, or if it's because Josh was there looking down, or if he's just downstairs, you know. But I did have some experiences without Josh there, like the couch thing. Although I don't know if that was related to him, because again, I don't know what that has to do with the 15 to 17-year-old boy, the cigar smell. Um, but most of my experiences, if Josh wasn't home, were downstairs. The other experience upstairs was Josh was upstairs though. Remember, he was the only one up there when everything fell. So yeah,
Yeah, your mom's house is creepy.
hopefully she won't listen to this episode. Well,
Sorry,
she knows it.
Mom.
So if you just try
Oh
not to talk about it.
gosh. I couldn't even. So I'm gonna tell some local ghost stories that I did find on the internet here in Halifax, Nova Scotia. They do offer ghost tours. We can post that somewhere with the information on that. But the one that I found was so Five Fishermen is a restaurant on the Halifax waterfront. So apparently, before it became a restaurant, it was actually a funeral home, which housed thousands of bodies from two tragedies: the sinking of the Titanic in 1912 and the Halifax explosion in 1917. Of course, we spoke a little bit of the sinking of the Titanic in our first episode. The Halifax explosion. The Halifax explosion, for anybody who doesn't know, happened on December 6th, 1917, here in Halifax, when the French cargo ship SS Mont Blanc collided with the Norwegian vessel SS Emo. The Mont Blanc was carrying a lot of high explosives, which caught on fire and exploded, devastating the port of Halifax. 1,782 people were killed in Halifax and Dartmouth by the blast, debris, and fires, and it's estimated that 9,000 people were injured. It was the largest human-made explosion at the time. So in this restaurant, keep in mind how many bodies would have been kept there. There's been reports of glasses flying off shelves, set cutlery on tables being moved or knocked on the floor, and even taps being turned on by themselves. There's a report from a waitress working late one night, and as she was walking towards the maitre d' stand, is that how you say it, maitre d'?
Mm-hmm.
She saw a gray fog-like apparition moving down the staircase. Many staff members have reported walking through cold pockets of air, even on warm nights, and it wasn't
Ooh,
uncommon to hear voices, especially your name being called out.
interesting.
A waiter passed the private room called the captain's quarters and heard a man and a woman arguing. And as he walked into the room to investigate, the voices stopped and it was empty, even though he had entered in the only entrance and exit to the room. I know.
Creepy.
So then there is the Citadel Hill course. It's a National Historic Site here in Canada, and it's literally right over the harbor from us. There's been many ghost sightings documented over there. It was once a British fort that held prisoners as well as kept watch over the city of Halifax. And the last one I have, in Grand Parade Square, in the heart of downtown Halifax, stands the oldest building in Halifax. I'm saying Halifax a lot. St. Paul's Anglican Church. Goes without saying that the oldest building, of course, would also be haunted. But legend has it that on the morning of the Halifax explosion, a deacon was standing in front of the window gazing out over the harbor just before the blast. Like so many others, he did not survive, and the intense light and the heat from the explosion caused his profile to be forever etched on the glass, leaving his shadow behind for years to come. And I looked at the pictures, and that's crazy. I know that's part of the ghost hunt, so
I was
we'll
gonna
definitely
say.
have to share that picture maybe on our Instagram. We'll pop that up there.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll show a picture of Halifax Harbor and maybe of Citadel Hill too.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, lots of Halifax pictures.
that's what we got. That's it.
That's it for today.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to the F&T show. Your turn.
Are you reading the right one?
No, I just made it up. Rad living.
Well, you did a call to duty where you said if you have any ghost stories. So now you have to do it
Oh
again.
yeah, I even wrote the script and
I
stuck it
know, you
down.
really did. You suck.
Oh my. That's the best. That's the best outro ever.
Rewind.
Yeah, okay. So this is what I wrote. Thanks for listening to the F&T show. If you like the show, please tell your friends, family, and anyone who will listen. Leave a review, preferably 5 stars, on your favorite podcast platform. And if you have any experiences with ghosts, please send us an email or contact us via social media. The email is fnterynnshow@gmail.com. So FNTERYNNSHOW@gmail.com.
And remember, we're all on Team Human. Be smart and shit. Be the tortoise. You have more choices than you think, and there could be a Casper in your life.
Love it.
We did it.
Go,
Look,
Leafs,
got
go.
less than 1 minute to go. Whoop whoop.
And it's game 4. Leafs versus Tampa. Leafs are up in the series 2-1. And I got my Marner shirt on. Woo! Go Marner.
Go Marner. And we're gonna run out of time. So
And good night, Codge.
Not good night, Codge. Stay where you are. All right.
And floaty things.
Text me later. No
Okay,
floaty
bye.
things. Bye.